Jesus brings an interesting point to the Pharisees as they are questioning him on interpretation of the law. How is it fulfilled? How do we live it? What are the nuances that come into that? I think for many of us, if we look at our daily lives, especially on our Sabbath, on the little Easter, the Sundays, how do we live out keeping that Sabbath? How do we keep it as being holy? The Jewish people have a very clear understanding of ways to do that, even to the amount of steps and actions that fulfill it. And yet, here Jesus and his company are walking through the field. They're hungry, so they begin to pick the grain and eat that. And the Pharisees see this as truly just violating the law, not appreciating the Sabbath. And he calls Jesus and them out on it. Jesus, in turn, responds using the scriptures, understanding a whole lot, and bringing up the idea of what David and his men did and what the priests do, that what is our intent? Do we desire mercy, not sacrifice? Do we seek to recognize God saves our lives, that we shall not die? How do we live it out? Each and every one of us, through our baptismal call, through the creation of being made in the image of God, are asked to fulfill the blessing of life, to realize each and every one of us have this blessing given to us. Now, if I recognize this as a blessing, how do I respond to it? Through our baptism, we are called to recognize we're priest, prophet, king, we're royalty in the image and likeness of being in God's sight, his family, all of us. And in that giftedness, then how do we respond? In receiving Jesus in the Eucharist, the highlight of our faith life, of truly giving thanks that we are responding to that blessed life, that reconciliation, that we seek that forgiveness, not only from God, but one another. Confirmation, that we seek to move deeper into the reliance on God's grace through the Spirit. For many, marriage, of bringing two to one in that life and care. For those in consecrated life, to offer ourselves fully to the Lord. And in that giftedness of realizing he has called us, how do we respond in service to his people? As we look at priesthood and diaconate, we realize how do we share in the sacramental life of the church and seeking to bring this message to all people. We live in an age, in the pandemic, of looking at especially those who have become ill, those who have been affected so largely by this illness, and we also look at the world with seeking justice for all as we reflect on how do we respond. As baptized Christian, as those in that fulfillment of call, whether it be single life, consecrated life, priesthood, that we enter a more deep way of trusting in God's grace. And as we do so, that we desire mercy, not sacrifice, that we look at what is the intention of how we live. May this day, those of us who are in consecrated life, truly give thanks for the blessing of life, as all of us are called to, but realizing in that way that we are asked to truly be servants of the servant, to recognize how do we respond to the many blessings that God gives to us, and in that giftedness take the opportunity to share his good news.